Sorry about the fan sound on the last video. I need to angle it so it's not right on me, but I don't want to because I want it right on me. It's really hot here. It's really hot here, so I'm like, I kind of want to inconvenience you so I can have the fan on me. It's too hot. There. But I watched my last video and I was thinking, you know, I didn't really work in any of the stuff that anybody else said, you know. But physical stuff, you know, I don't know. I'm physically attracted to men's hands and their wrists and their forearms. And it's completely different from the female form. It's completely different. It's so attractive. And in almost any male, I'll respond to that like immediately. You know what I was thinking today? Maybe I should talk about that. I was thinking today because Gray had said he went to somebody's channel that he likes, and it had a video featured of Diana responding to Tattoo Skin. And so he's like, he was laughing at it. He's like, you should watch this, it's funny. I was like, okay, so I watched it. And it was alright. I would have liked more from it, but it was okay. But it reminded me, you know, this thing about people's own ideas of what feminism is, or their own projections of it. Because like Tattoo Skin was like, oh, she's a radical feminist, but then she wants this guy that's gonna send her presents. I mean, what is it about life that so many people don't get, you know? How is there a conflict in that at all? I mean, each one of us are particular beings of a particular size, height, weight, shape, sexual disposition, genetic makeup. We're gonna family makeup, right? I mean, if you're a little tiny girl that has wrists that'll snap like a like what snaps? I don't know. You know, like a toothpick if somebody grabs onto them, and your daddy was a big, super huge, powerful man, you know, your attractions are organic. I mean, regardless, so you can have radical feminist ideas, you can have radical feminist notions, you could recognize or believe that there is a certain inequity in the world that stems from a patriarchal system, which seems to be only a modern phenomena to deny. And you only half deny it because the next video will be like, why men rule the world. How come this is why women aren't good at this or that or the other thing. This is why women aren't in this sphere. This is why, you know. It's like, oh, there's no patriarchy, right? I don't understand this denial of patriarchy. Like, it suddenly ended when Carl Sagan was born, or when Carl Sagan wrote his book, or like, when do you guys think that ended? I would like to know. Anyway, whatever. Thousands of years under patriarchy. You know, we are what we are. The culture that shapes us, even, it doesn't even matter if you think it's biological or cultural, because even the people that believe that we're culturally imprinted, we believe that that's super deep imprinting. And notice I used the word imprinting, which is how deep it can go. So for example, where did I get that word from? You've heard it from the ducks, right? So a duck can lose his mother, but then have another mother imprinted onto it, right? Right? Atheists, science lovers, reason rationalists, right? Do you see what I'm saying? We can be imprinted, you know, we can be a certain way. We can be attracted to anything. We can have kinks, we can have anything. You know, it doesn't mean that we can't recognize the dynamic in society, right? Doesn't mean we can't recognize that misogyny is rife within women and men and seems to be some kind of badge of honor if you display misogyny, right? You could believe that. You could believe that and still be attracted to a gender stereotype or extreme heteronormative. You could have an extreme heteronormative relationship, retro heteronormative, you know, you could, and still recognize radical feminist issues and believe them. And even if you don't believe that, anyway, the people that were actually trying to get Diana on this are not people that they're just not. I'm sorry, you're just not bright. One of you is brighter than the other one, but you let your personal vendettas get into the way of what ideas you're intellectually lazy when it comes to Diana. You're intellectually lazy just because you don't like her, you know? Because I think in another setting, you would get it. Watch her Azazel's video to Diana. It was so stupid. So dumb. Gray and I were laughing. I mean, you know, she says, what does she say? Like, oh, he needs to love me. And then he writes on the screen, like, what about your love for him? What does it matter? She mentions that or not. So that implies she doesn't care about her love for him because she didn't mention it. Knock it off. They're so dumb. And oh no, she wants presents. Oh no. It's common for people to buy each other presents. To me it is. I was known for it, you know, back in the States. I did a little too much of that because it's not always appropriate to be buying people tons of stuff, and I did all the time. I loved it. I loved to buy people things, you know, other people. So if somebody says, oh, he's going to give me lots of presents, I mean, that doesn't offend me at all. I'm just thinking, yeah, when I like someone, I buy them lots of presents, you know. I like to figure out what a person would want and try to surprise them. I like to do that, you know. And I know, because I was talking to my last video about my guy, I just know for a fact he's going to be doing that. And I don't mean even, he's just the type of guy that's even going to come home with a flower. Be like, I got this flower for you. You know, he's really like that. I'm going to be spoiled. And that's the way it is. Doesn't mean I'm not a feminist. Oh my gosh. So yeah, you could recognize that a radical idea is the correct idea. Just like you could recognize a certain economic system would be better than the current one, but you function in a capitalist system. And you could even have a rummage sale and make a profit. Because you're still living in this system, you know. You could get an inheritance, but be totally against that type of economic system. It's the absurdity of life, you know. But I don't see how somebody, you know, having this thing like, well, I want my man to be like this and like this and like this, has anything to do with radical feminism. And I'm trying to think of a way where it would be a conflict, like, but see, you've got sexuality in there, and our sexuality is just very, it's kind of organic. We change over time, too. Oh, I don't know, because we each have a fit, right? We have something that fits us. We're like puzzle pieces. We're not whole. We're not perfect. Well, actually, I have to be careful using general language like that, because in some philosophical sense, you could say, I am whole, I am perfect, you know. I don't know, I just think all that kind of stuff is baloney. But what I mean is, I definitely believe we're certainly imperfect. But like I said, we have our own particular psychology. We have our own particular experiences. And like when we're young, we might be, you know, hormonally attracted to somebody that when we're older, we would never find attractive, because so much of our life experiences have changed, you know. And so it's based on experience and genetics and things like that. So I don't know what the big deal was, why we're supposed to be laughing at. And then Bob Chaos did a video like, oh, she's attracted to Yul Brynner and The King and I. Well, I think what she said was a little too general to strike it up to Yul Brynner, you know. But anyway, that was not supposed to be taken seriously, but that's such a great movie. The King and I is so awesome. Yeah, I can make some generalizations. This is something I believe after, you know, being 40 years old. I think I could say honestly that if I was going to make a general statement based on what I've heard from women and men in many different situations, especially like short men and women, everybody seemed to have cooperated. There's a generalization that's kind of true in that women tend to like tall men. And I also read studies that suggest that everybody likes a tall man. Like if you're tall, you're more likely to be promoted or taken seriously or something like that. People just respond to that. But women do. There used to be this guy that I knew that was really hot. I mean, he looked like Jason Priestley. He just was really had beautiful skin and gorgeous hair, and I don't know, he looked like a model. And I was way too old for him, but I appreciated his looks. And then there was this other young female that I knew, and she was in a relationship, but we used to be like, oh, he's really hot, you know. And we were talking to this girl that was not in a relationship, and she's one of those young ladies that has her pick, you know. She's very popular, and we're like, what about this guy? You know, you like him? And she's like, and she didn't want to say for the longest time, and finally she goes, he's too short. And I was like, I've always heard that. Like from short guys, they get all pissed off, like women don't like them. And I tend to listen to women more than men, because men tend to be mad if they can't just get every and any woman. Every woman doesn't like them, so they have a chip on their shoulder. Or alpha women, as the pickup artists say, or whatever, you know, like that. So I'm like, whatever, shut up. But it seems to be true, so I'm sweating. I need to put my fan on me. Okay, gotta edit this. Ciao, puppies.